All right. So I have a choice that is a bit
Are you
different.
going to choose your own adventure?
I'm choosing a new adventure for us.
Okay.
Well, it's an old adventure, but it's a bit different than what we've done before.
Okay.
But let's.
We're doing a new podcast again.
Yep, this is What the Dub number 2.
Ooh, the sequel. Okay.
Let's see. Originally, Michael Keaton was cast as Jack in the first draft of the script. Jack.
Oh wait, are you doing a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like pitching me a new idea for a podcast for us to do.
No. This is an episode. It's a little different than.
I was like, are you over the movie thing already? I was so confused.
Taylor and Alan talking about movies. They may be best friends, but they always disagree. Taylor and Alan, I seen that.
I was like, all right, let's hear this pitch. He's got some new idea. And you just started talking about Michael Keaton.
That's my pitch. I want to get you out, bring Michael Keaton in. We're going to do the
okay, I got you.
The foul
We're going to
cast.
bring Keaton in on this one.
And we're only going
All
to talk about flying superheroes that are in the shapes of birds. Hawkman,
That are birds.
Birdman, Batman, the Vulture, Falcon, the Wasp. The Wasp can be in there. It's a woman, but that's okay. We'll be progressive. There's got to be others, right? Nightwing is ish.
Isn't the Crow technically a comic book character?
Maybe.
Didn't it start as a comic book? I don't know enough about it. I didn't care for it.
Yeah, but yeah, me and Michael Keaton are starting the foul cast. So look for that on iTunes.
And all right. Thanks, everybody. It's been fun.
Originally, Mr. Michael Keaton was cast as Jack. In the first draft of the script, Jack was to be killed.
Okay, is this Lost?
Yes.
Interesting.
That's what I meant by changing it up a little bit.
I gotcha. It's a crossover.
It's crossover. Yeah, we're just doing a TV show.
I did not know Michael Keaton was cast. I knew that Jack originally was supposed to die in the first episode.
Yeah.
Did not know it was Michael Keaton.
Yeah, me either. I just found that out.
That would have been interesting.
One of the reasons I want to talk about this is because I see online all the time people complaining about how everyone was in purgatory the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes me crazy because that's not what happened.
No.
My understanding and interpretation of the show, which I'm fairly confident is correct, the last season is split between two timelines.
Yes.
The timeline where they're all together and they're all collecting each other is purgatory.
Okay.
The timeline on the island is everyone is still alive who's still alive at that point. And it's not until they get to purgatory where they start meeting. Because when Kate and Jack finally meet each other, she's like, it's been so long. I've missed you so much. Like, I'm glad we're back together now. But that's because they died at different points in time.
Yes.
Because she goes back.
Yeah.
She goes back home. She gets off the island, lives her full life with a kid. He dies on the island.
Correct.
But purgatory is only the second timeline in the final season. That's the only time purgatory actually exists.
Yeah, they're not in purgatory the whole time. The island is not purgatory.
No. Yeah.
Which is what a lot of people believe.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of people thought that initially, and then the showrunners were like, no, it's not purgatory. You know, and then people felt
all
lied to.
All the stuff that's happening is happening.
Yeah. People felt lied to because purgatory was involved, but it had nothing to do with the island.
Yeah, correct.
So that drives me crazy every time I hear people complain about this show being bad because of purgatory. When the show was bad because of plenty of other reasons.
This show was not bad.
This
is one of the greatest shows.
The first season is awesome. The next 4.5 seasons is terrible.
You didn't like 4/5 of this show?
From season 2 until probably season, I guess 4.5, so 3.5 seasons was awful.
How so?
It was so boring. They kept dropping storylines. They kept adding people that didn't make sense. They kept doing things that were just like crazier and crazier and never answering questions.
That was frustrating.
Yeah.
That they did not answer questions and just added new ones.
And
But I would not say boring.
And I'm gonna stop talking about Lost for a second because I want to tell this story. But remember when we were watching it? It must have been when the first or second season was out, and me and you were like really into it, and we were trying to figure out in our group of friends who would be.
Oh
which
yes,
character.
I know this story very well.
And I think we decided that I was Jack and you were Sawyer, and your brother.
Yes, because I had the longer hair at the time.
Yeah. Your brother Dante, who is black, was Michael, mostly because he was black. And we said, "Hey Dante, you're Michael," and he's like, "What? What'd you say to me?" I was like, "You're Michael."
He had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah,
and got super offended.
Yeah. Well, part of it was he's got a brother, Michael, right? One of his brothers is Michael.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's offensive in any way or not to him being called his brother, but
I would be offended if you called me Joshua.
That's valid. I agree. But he got really upset and started yelling at us, and he came up and shoved me, and I just kind of like laughed at him. I was like, what are you?
Yeah, we were sitting on the trampoline.
And then he punched you in the back of the head. You jumped up. You're laying on the trampoline. He punched you in the back of the head. You jumped up and used the momentum of the trampoline to bounce yourself back at him off of the trampoline. And you guys got into a little cat fight where you're both like slapping and pawing at each other. And then your parents came running out because they were watching the whole thing through the window. And,
I was able to get behind him and kind of put him in to like a little headlock.
Did you? I don't.
I still was I was very confused as to why he was so angry. I'm like, dude, you need to settle down.
And your parents came out and stopped everything. And Dante told us about how he grew up on the streets and we need to watch out. And we're like, we've known you for like a really long time.
Yeah,
you have not.
You grew up here.
Yeah, you have not grown up on any of the streets you're talking about.
Yeah, he was an interesting character.
Good times, good times. Back to Lost, though. Sorry for that detour. One of the issues with the show was Walt grew. He had a giant growth spurt between
massive growth spurt.
Was it season 1 and season 2 or 2 and 3?
It's 2 and 3.
And they just wrote him out of the show. He was a pretty large part of the first season. He had powers where he was like, he could see things, he could talk to people, he was speaking backwards with water pouring out of his mouth.
Yeah.
He had like this big story arc that was being built up. And then he had a growth spurt, and like he went from looking like a little boy to looking like a full-grown man.
Like a Harlem Globetrotter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
Yeah. So they cut him out completely, which was... I'm pretty sure it was more dramatic to cut him out than it would have been just to leave him in.
Yeah, I agree.
But, oh well. That's what they decided to do. I remember in like the 4th season, Hurley sees him in the window. And you're like, oh man, that kid is big.
And he was huge.
But what do you think about Lost? You like it?
I love it. It's probably my all-time favorite show. One of them.
Yeah. It was good. I enjoyed it. I watched the whole thing. The end, I felt like kind of finally came back around once I started answering questions and like, revealing things instead of trying to build more mystery on top of mystery. But it was a difficult trek through the couple seasons that were pretty slow.
If anything, I would say season 2, I agree, was a little boring. But other than that, I loved all of it.
I don't know. When they had the others, that was weird. When they had the second half of the plane, that was weird. when they
I
started.
like that. I like the introduction of the tell section.
Did you? Then isn't that
Ah.
when they had the couple that they just killed off?
That was season 3. That was pretty horrible.
That was a terrible. It was like just this random episode about people you've never seen before, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they were a part of everything that we've shown. You just don't remember." And then they just killed them by the end of that episode.
And I was like, "Oh, thank goodness."
Oh, you know what?
Well,
I didn't even think about it when I chose this, but you inked yourself with Lost, didn't you?
I have been inked.
You've been inked
by Lost.
Which one did you end up with?
I have the Swan, and Crystal has the Looking Glass, which is the rabbit.
Which is the rabbit? Which one? The Looking Glass is the Swan. Is the hatch?
Yes.
Okay, so people go inside of you and push buttons.
Correct.
Okay,
that's exactly right.
And which one was the Looking Glass?
The Looking Glass was the underwater one where Charlie died.
Nice.
Yes.
How come? What made you guys decide to do that? You just liked it?
Yeah, it was what we started watching when we first started dating. It's how I convinced her to keep coming to my house.
Oh, nice.
So I have Lost to thank for all this madness.
Well, for all your kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
My sister, your brother, who are married, named their kid after one of the characters.
Oh, yes, Charlie. That's right.
Charlie was a good character in this show. He was my favorite. Him dying
Charlie was a great character.
Was tough.
He died too soon.
How many times have you watched this all the way through? Just the first?
Oh, no. Oh, no. All the way through, probably like 7 times.
7 times?
Yeah, because I would introduce... Well, so here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
Not counting the final season, 7 times. Because when I would rewatch it with new people, because it was always fun to watch with someone who hadn't seen it. And so I would watch it again with them, but the new season hadn't been out yet. So I've seen everything up to the final season probably like 7 times through. Jeez. And then the final season just the once.
I think I've watched the first season twice. I watched it with my family, and I think I watched it with you, didn't I?
Yeah,
I got you. I got you into the show, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And then that's it. I watched everything else once, I believe.
The first season, I've probably seen like 10 times through.
Man, that's crazy.
And it's still good. It holds up.
I doubt it. 10 times?
Absolutely. Well, part of what makes it good is watching it with someone who hasn't seen it.
I don't know, man. I don't think I could enjoy it 10 times.
It's been a while. I'm about due for another viewing.
Yeah, you gotta watch it with Braden.
Yeah, but he has to be able to understand it.
Yeah. Well, he won't, because when you're even an adult, you can't understand
it. This is true. I guess I still want to understand it.
Yeah, you have to understand it so you can explain it to him.
But yeah, I love Lost. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah, I think it deserves more credit than it gets. I think a lot of people hate on it because of the end, which is so annoying to me. Like I said, there are legitimate things about this show that is not very good. That is
what bugs me most is the people who hate it, who have never even seen it, and they either hate it because they don't like things that have all the hype behind it.
Yeah.
Or they heard that there was a polar bear on the island, and that doesn't make sense. So this is stupid.
Yeah. The polar bear was weird. I know they had him in captivity, but why?
They were just doing testing.
Yeah, but what testing? What testing do you need a polar bear for?
They were testing the time travel.
Is that what it was?
Because there was a... I'm trying to remember which scene it was. Yeah, so either when Locke or Ben turned the wheel and moved the island, and then they woke up on like that desert, area, You know what I'm talking about?
Not very well. No.
It's like in Tunisia or something like that. Some kind of desert, and there's like polar bear bones in that area, implying that like that's how they were testing to see if people could do it. I guess something along those lines.
So, how much do you think your liking of this show has to do with your dad being John Locke?
Probably 90%.
Yeah. I every time I watch it, I always like, that's Andy Enixon.
Yeah, I used to say that all the time. Yeah, I agree. Locke was a good character, though.
Yeah, most of the time. He got annoying. He like
season 2 is when he was annoying.
Yeah.
With the button, that was it.
I felt like towards the end he got annoying again, though. Like his need to be important was like a big driving factor for him, and he just didn't pan out to be that important.
Yes, I agree with that. That was part of his whole thing.
And then the boat. The boat was weird.
Like the freighter?
Yeah, when Jin blew it up. Was it Jin or was it Saeed?
No, it was... Yeah, it was Saeed with... That I did not like. I did not care for them killing off 3 characters immediately for what felt like it could have been done differently.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like it because I can't remember if it was Saeed or Jin. I felt like it was Jin, but maybe it was Saeed. He was like...
I think it was Saeed.
He was like, I have explosives training in the military. And it's like, how come this has never come up until there's a bomb? Like, it just was like so convenient. They're like...
We know he's had military history, though.
Yeah, but it was like way too convenient for him to like, I know exactly what to do.
Well, was it that convenient, though? Because it didn't work.
It saved people, though, didn't it?
It saved people because he ran away to like a different part of the boat when it blew up.
Yeah. I don't remember very well. I just remember
it had nothing to do with having any kind of knowledge of bombs.
Yeah. Who was your favorite character from the show?
I really like Desmond. Yeah, I think he was my favorite.
Naked pull-up guy?
Yes.
That was weird. That was a weird way
to had...
They made him to, like, that first episode, it was like, oh, this guy is like Bane. Like, super crazy fit, like, just a beast. And then that's not what he was.
Yeah. I really liked that he had a good... He had a very good, like, redeeming storyline. He got on the island, separate from everyone else, lived there for a long time, and continued to live in this hatch out of some kind of fake obligation that he felt, and then was able to leave the island and then help the people on the island, and then get back with his original love, which sent him to the island. It's very confusing when you say it all out, but... I think he had the greatest storyline. He's my favorite character.
I think my favorite character, so Jin, but Jin and Michael together building the boat. Jin was my favorite.
Yeah, that was good.
When they couldn't communicate, but they're fighting and bickering all the time, and like, I don't know, that was pretty funny. How'd you feel about the show just getting rid of people because they had issues outside of the show?
Oh, like when they got DUIs?
Yeah. Because it happened to 2 or 3.
It happened to 3 characters.
Yeah.
That was weak. Now, of course, they said that that's not why, but come on.
Yeah. Because it was Michelle Rodriguez, who actually ended up coming back in the final season, but they're like, you're not ready to go to heaven yet. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was like, you haven't repented for that DUI yet.
Yeah. You could be back in the show, but you can't get into heaven yet.
That's right. I forgot that they showed her.
Yeah, she was a cop.
Yeah.
And then there was...
No, I remember her on the show.
No, she in the
I
final
just forgot
season.
that she was in...
She was a cop. She like pulled someone over.
Well, yeah, because that's what she was beforehand.
Was she? I don't remember that part.
Yeah, she was a cop.
But yeah, they got rid of her. They also got rid of, what's his name, Ezekiel or something like that? The big black
Mr.
guy.
Echo.
Mr. Echo, yeah.
Ezekiel. Yeah, and the tiger.
Yeah, from Walking Dead.
Yeah, also DUI.
Who was the other one? Who was the third one?
It was, I don't know what her name is in real life, but in the show, her name was Libby. Like Hurley's little girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
She was part of the tail section. She was also crazy. Like, I guess she was also in the mental institution with Hurley at the same time. Yeah. They killed her and Michelle Rodriguez at the same time.
Gotcha.
And they both had DUIs.
One of the best scenes of this entire show was the dynamite scene from the first season.
Absolutely.
When they took, was it a professor or something like that?
Yeah.
And
he was a doctor, Dr. Arst.
Yeah. And he was like, all right, I think we're okay. And then he just blows up.
Yeah.
The dynamite is so unstable.
That was very startling, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
I did not see that coming at all.
You know who was in this show? The Mr. Creepface. Let's see if you know who I'm talking about.
Mr. Creepface.
Yeah. Doug Hutchinson.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He was the dude from the Dharma Initiative in the 70s.
Yeah.
That dude is super creepy.
Yeah, he ended up marrying a 16-year-old when he was like 40.
Yeah. But her parents really liked him.
Oh, well, okay.
They're not together anymore, I believe.
I don't think so.
I think they divorced a couple of years ago. They did make it longer than I thought, which was, I want to say, like 5 years.
Yeah, it's just crazy that that's even an option.
Yeah. Have you seen Green Mile?
Yes.
So, you know he's in that movie as well.
I don't remember it great, but I believe
I want to say his name was Percy, and he's one of the COs, but the one that nobody liked.
Yeah. Because
he was like a jerk. Kind of creepy as well. That was him. Just a side note. Doug Hutchinson. I liked him in Lost, though.
Yeah, I don't remember him in the movie in Lost very well.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Just really weird in real life, but whatever.
Hurley was a good character.
Hurley's probably one of my other favorite characters. And I know we've had this conversation before when we were talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, but I loved where his story went with him becoming the new Jacob, protector of the island.
Yeah.
And like being what's the word I'm looking for? Not eternal, but whatever. He can't die. He doesn't die.
Yeah.
I like that. Immortal. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, they almost did a spin-off with him.
Did they really?
Yeah, they're like super close to doing a spin-off with him, with Hurley and Ben running the island.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I heard something about that, but I thought that was more of a joke.
Maybe it was. I mean, I have no way of really knowing now.
Like, I think that was something that they joked about doing, but I don't know if they were ever actually... I don't know. Maybe they were.
Yeah. Do you think...
Which leads me... Go ahead.
Do you think they knew what they were doing? Because they said all along that they knew from the beginning, but there's no way, right?
No, not all of it, at least.
But
and I wonder even...
Like
the
the
purgatory
smoke monster from the beginning, the purgatory, like none
smoke
of that
monster.
Stuff.
Yes, I feel like
you feel like he was supposed to be the Antichrist to Jacob the whole time. Like I felt like that got weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always wondered that. What did they, out of all the stuff that happened over the course of the show, how much of that did they have like before they even started? How much of that was part of the original vision, and what did they pick up along the way?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like none of it. I'm sure they had some, but it did not feel like much.
I think you're probably right. Like, did they always plan on doing time travel and any of that stuff? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, are you gonna ever rewatch the series?
Oh yes.
You think so?
Oh yes. Oh, of course. I know I'll watch it probably 5 more times in my life.
5 more times? That's ridiculous.
I'm pretty confident.
You know how long it takes you to finish these series?
This one not long because I will watch it straight through the night.
Well, even still, it takes the same amount of time, regardless if you watch one a day or you watch the whole thing nonstop. The amount of time you spend on it is the same. This
is true.
It's the way time works.
But I love it so much that I don't care.
Yeah. I think I tried getting my wife to watch it, and she just never trusted me that it was good.
Now, see, I always knew that there was something I didn't like. And when someone is not willing to try, then I question their character and judgment.
You should. You should question her character. But the same thing happened with The Office. She was like adamantly against The Office, did not care to ever watch it. We ended up watching... Is
that because of all the massive fan base behind it?
No, she had seen a couple episodes, and she said she didn't think they were funny at all. She felt like all the characters were just super annoying, and she like didn't have any desire to watch it. But we watched Parks and Rec, and then we watched 30 Rock. We went through those, and I was like, well,
that's another good one.
Give The Office a chance. And then we like binge watched all 9 seasons or whatever in the course of like a month.
Yeah. What has she seen Arrested Development?
She's seen the first season.
Okay.
She liked it, but we didn't have access to the other seasons, and then it's just kind of been too long to where I don't think she cares to watch the other ones.
And then that's a perfect excuse to rewatch it. That's another good one.
Almost a valid point.
Almost. It's getting there.
All right. Anything else about Lost?
Other than it's the greatest show of all time? No. That's all I got.
All right.